just forgotten and desolate like a grave in the snow. I just wish you could hear me when I cry and I call. I hope you know I'm alive, I'm just on hold. Didn't ask for a rhyme, but the truth be told, I know you'll go on. You'll be fine, I know. You don't make it ring, ring, ring me. You can't hear my voice no more. I know. You don't make it ring, ring, ring me. Clawing, scratching at the glass that divides, staring at the dead light up in the sky. Operator, I don't know where I am. Just tell me, how is the man I cared for so much? Now I'm gone. No time for a lullaby or a love song. Stand there and expect me just to march on. Like nothing ever hurts when you got a smile on. Cause it all heals in time. But in force it's all over for us this time. Dust to dust, our love flatline. You can't hear me cry no more. No, you can't make it ring, ring, ring me. I know you could if you would. I know you can't make it ring, ring, ring me.
そう。
それに
Remy turned her back to me, and then she wrapped her arms around herself.
それにタクも行かない方がいい。
それってどういう？
実家には戻らないで。
She spoke firmly, almost like she was ordering me not to go. I was at a loss. I had no idea what Remy was trying to achieve by saying that. What kind of face was Remy making as she had her back to me? I didn't know.
わけがわからない。
あなたは何も知らなくていい。
Her voice carried a sense of urgency. She felt like a completely different person from before.
ここでこのコンテナハウスだけでずっと生きていけばいいの。
What the?
そうしてもらわないと困るんだ。
Won't end well. Oh. Hello. Damn, she's so cool. Aoi Senna, D-sword in hand. As per usual, the source of the light was her D-sword glimmering against the sky, but something was strange. When I had seen it before, Senna's D-sword had emitted a blue glow. The sound vanished, the wind stopped. Oh, she rebooted that shit.
答える。
Her voice was sharp, her glare cold. Her eyes glistened with unmistakable animosity.
これを書いたのはお前か？
As she spoke, she thrust out a piece of paper with IR2 scribbled on it. My essay, for some reason it was all scrunched up. Why did Senna have that? Why was Senna here? Been standing only moments prior. Senna's sword had hollowed out the floor of the rooftop. It had such an insane destructive power, such tremendous sharpness that it didn't feel real. The impact had been great enough to destroy the concrete, and yet the sword didn't even have a scratch on it. Weren't D-swords supposed to be things people couldn't see, let alone touch? A certain term crossed my mind. Real boot. Her sword had been real booted. Through the mutual recognition of the four people here, Senna's D-sword had gone from her delusion to reality. It was now a great sword that could cut down a person for real. If Remy hadn't pulled me away in time, I would have been bisected from head to toe by that beautiful sword of hers. It would have been instant death.
殺してやる。
Senna raised her head. She glared at me even more intensely than before. Her movements were incredibly fast, in spite of the fact that she was holding a gigantic sword. What a lovely fact that is. She kicked off the ground like she was starting a 500-meter dash. The tip of her sword scraped against the ground as she brandished it, closing the distance between us. She raised the weapon above her head. In that instant, my instincts worked out exactly what kind of situation I was in. She was serious. Senna was deathly serious. As I lay face up in a total heap, I let out a shriek. I couldn't run away. None of this made any sense. Getting a game over like this, desperately running away from Shogun, yet getting surprise attacked by Senna as a result of it. It was far too ridiculous, far too sudden. Remy.
タクに手を出さないで。
Unifying the overflowing light, she placed her arms together. Oh, we've seen this before. The air warped and shook. Coming seemingly from thin air, feathers of shining light burst around Remy and danced in the surrounding air. And then what appeared in her hands. Effortlessly blocked the fierce downward swing of Senna's gigantic sword.
タクを追い詰めないで。
It was all too graceful to be called a sword. All too imperial? Let's go with that. Enough to easily be mistaken for the wings of an angel. Then I realized a certain fact. That she, Sakihara Remy, sorry. Tried to throw a K in there instead of an M. Was a gigalomaniac. You know, sometimes I just can't read. Ever. Overwhelmed with shock, Aoi Senna looked at the face of the girl that stood before her, right before her very eyes.
ようやく見つけた。
Senna took a step toward the man, gritting her teeth to hold back her overflowing hatred. She once again brandished her D-sword. Another step forward.
どうしようもなかった。私はお前の母さんを生贄に捧げるしかなかったんだ。
What the fuck?
黙れ。
母さんの最後はとても安らかなものだったよ。
With that statement, Remy spoke as if she knew everything there was to know.
ふざけるな。今渋谷を襲っている混乱は全部あの公式が発端なんだぞ。
Formula?
それ以上言わないで。タクは本当に何も知らないの。
From the sounds of it, she was talking about me, but I couldn't follow the conversation at all.
公式ってこれのこと？
Kozupi leapt down from the container house, holding my essay in her hand. She held out the back of the essay to us. I saw what I doodled on it back in elementary school. IR2. The chaos infesting Shibuya right now had started from this? Yeah, what is it? Fun to the 10th power times int to the whatever the fuck that says equals IR2. Talk about an absurd accusation. There was no way in hell some random doodle could affect anything, let alone of that magnitude. I just doodled that thing on a complete whim when I was bored or something, probably. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember it all that well. But I did know there was no real meaning behind it. I just copied down the numbers I'd seen in a dream. It was a dream related to whose eyes are those eyes, which I'd written about on the front. I'd used those words all the time, since even before I'd written it. And whenever I had, it would all take shape in my dreams more and more. Now they were a deep scarlet. While still on the ground, while still hanging her head down in regret, she formed a sentence.
この公式をお前が生み出した瞬間、世界は分岐したんだ。
Huh?
That's
No.
exactly how it happens. So there is people who decided what they want to win every time, and they want to have all the power in the world. They're the one who's actually created AI in order to cheat, and that's where it's all started. And it's like I said, it's not in a human lifetime. Not in even in 100 years, because that's already AI basically. The perfect geometry, it's AI creation. So it's the AI is protruded this whole reality, and the way AI like to run this world, basically like insects, it wants to be in full control, you know. Just like bees, when the queen bee basically control all the hive. So it's like to do that. But that's what makes it opposite of real God, because we're not like that. We're not searching power over others, you know. And also, when I show up here in 75, they're already introducing a lot of cartoons, right? And why they doing that? Because when the world gonna go from the shape of apple to the shape of that the one what the lady was holding in her hands, you know, when it's gonna go to that, it's gonna be simplified to the cartoonish representation. So the dead ones gonna become just cartoons, and the ones who actually were alive but refuse to leave this place when times come, they're the ones who's gonna be eating up alive in that structure. It's supposed to be changed. It has to be done 50 years ago. It's like when I entered this world, I came with the group of people. That's the memories I actually retrieved from my past life hypnosis. So not group of people, but there are people here. And at that point, 50 years ago, my life should not be a nightmare. And the certain stuff, like certain keys to the reality should have been given to us. Instead, they couldn't do it. That was the point where the reality could have been changed, and that was not the case. So from that point till now, it's too late. It's visual to us. So I do not know how much longer this reality has, but I believe it's not much. Another one where we're going, and in now one you're not going to be able to live because the centers goes up and down and it's never stops. So it's basically locking everybody who stays here, they will be destroyed. And when the change happens, you're going to be actually presented with the portal. With like you have actually some portals on your channel when you playing some stuff. You notice it or not? It's just like everywhere. Like and eventually, if you actually think logically, everyone who is not alive, as far as the soul, they basically are part of the AI, or they basically just one entity who is the AI. So there is no point. You're not going to be able to wake them up. You're not going to be able to change them because it goes against everything. Okay, the chosen ones basically they made a deal with the AI. That's why they're using gematria. That's why they're using only two languages was actually considered to be two languages. One is Hebrew and now one is Latin. So, and all other languages were created basically to lie about stuff, which is, yeah, it's all about power, but anyone who searching the power is ultimately evil. It's evil by definition. So that's what happened to them. And you can see the traces. It's like, so, because this reality does not receiving anymore, well, it does receive certain degree of the energy and matter. Energy and matter in this world coming from the pulsar stars. Like hydrogen stream is actually like very small piece of the reality is the hydrogen. From the hydrogen you can create any element possible. It's a building block of the hologram, basically, the hydrogen is. So because this reality does not get as much hydrogen and as much energy as it was used to getting it, they actually have to create artificial way to keep reality going. You know how from one hydrogen collider, right now it's over 30,000 hydrogen colliders. And what hydrogen collider is, it's like you get two lasers and you point them at each other and you shoot them, and when they collide at the place of the collision creates hydrogen, and it also creates magnetic field. So they have to have that many colliders in order to keep this reality going right now, artificially, basically.
So you
Because
think
magnetic field
that's what
is,
their true purpose is? That's an interesting take.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I found this research where is I don't remember the name of it, but they were basically researching at Afghanistan. Some of the American soldiers, the one who been killed there, at cemetery in Afghanistan.
To the previous simulation up to 1850, and then they just copied it and made this. And I think that's what's going on right now. That's what CERN is doing. If I had to guess, somebody asked what's CERN doing, my guess is what CERN is doing is they are making an absolute perfect copy of our reality at whatever, maybe they've already done it, maybe they've already chosen the year, maybe they did choose 2012, maybe they chose 2018, I don't know. Whatever year they've chosen, they are perfecting everything about that year so that when they switch on the new simulation in CERN, it'll be like that day has begun again, and I get somehow they will be, though those who get tricked, will be in a sense somehow plugged into CERN, you might say. The consciousness will be unplugged from wherever we're plugged in here, the equivalent of the CERN that's running this, and we'll be plugged into that one.
No McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
Yeah, well, history is going to change.